So the quick story about how I partially tore my pec, just sort of broing out, right? And the wife and I joined Lifetime Fitness, and we're both pretty active. And she much more cardio stuff and yoga and Pilates, and she was really excited to get in those classes. Me, I'm a bro. Like cardio, is that Spanish? Nah. But definitely not as young as I used to be. And I think back in the day, my one rep bench max was 285. No, wait, that doesn't make any sense. That's somewhere in there. It was definitely up there, right? And been working out at home. Have a nice little setup in the garage, mainly dumbbell press. So it's not like working with actual flat dumbbell bench with the barbell, but getting back on the horse, and we're gonna do this. So first day. Get back out there, do the normal stretches, do the warm-ups with the bar and the light weights and everything like that. Put on 2 plates, one on each side, 135, no problem. 185, no problem. So I'm like, yeah, let's do this. Let's NFL Combine this. Let's 225 this mother. So 2 plates on each side and 3 reps, no problem. Fourth one, fortunately I had a spotter. And also, fortunately, I didn't have the collars on, because otherwise that could have ended very badly. And the left side, the arm just went. I knew right away that something was wrong. Well, obviously, but the weights drop on the left side, the weights drop on the right side, and then instead of a full-on, completely torn pectoral, I get by with a partially torn one and looking like a dumbass for a little bit, which I actually don't mind. Even though it was 6:30 in the morning on a holiday, the gym was still pretty full, but whatever. And the worst part about it is I've never had an injury like this before, and just waiting to see the doctor in the afternoon. So I had like 3 hours of just furiously Googling stuff. I'm like, oh my God, I'm going to die. I'm going to get MRSA, and this is it, because I can't do surgeries. And also, I was looking at our health insurance, like, all right, so our deductible per person is $3,000, and our maximum out of pocket is $5,000. So this is going to cost $5,000, and it's going to suck because I'll be out of commission for 6 months lifting and also all the rehab, blah, blah, blah. So this entire time just completely iced and immobilized, so I don't know the extent of it. The whole thing about it is that it didn't hurt. It didn't really hurt that much, so I'm thinking to myself, well, maybe it's a complete tear, maybe if it's a partial tear you'll actually have some pain. I don't know. It just did not feel right, and it definitely looked misshapen. And just some tenderness, some soreness, some range of motion issues initially, but then when I saw the doctor, we got the ice off, we got the wrap off, and she took a look at it, and we even got an MRI on it, and partial. Just partial. And I was just like, oh lordy, oh thank you, because MRI is covered, right? And the check-in, seeing the doctor is covered by insurance. So I feel like I just won $5,000. Yeah. It literally, like a scratch-off ticket, just came down from heaven. $5,000 that I don't have to pay. So phenomenal. But definitely going to take it light, do some cardio, and also focus on legs. Because a thing I read up most about it is you're going to be out of commission for a week or two. Definitely let that thing rest, ice up, and take it easy, and also really hammer on stretching and warming up when you do get back into it. And it probably won't be back doing bench anytime soon. I think that I'm going to leave that to the young man's game, and but when I do get back on, probably won't be anywhere near what it used to be, but I don't care. At this point, it's all maintenance and trying not to have a gunt. That's what it is for soon to be 32-year-old men. But I also think it's a really good lesson too, because especially in places like Lifetime where it can be like, Globo Gym, we're better than you, and we know it. Now it's really cool, but also really cool, nice staff, but Also, the clientele out there, you see guys deadlifting 400 pounds, you see them putting up 350 on the bench like no one's business. Even the chicks are going to be out benching, out squatting you, out deadlifting you, and at this point, you can't care, right? Because everyone's physiology is different and priorities are different. They probably don't have kids. Maybe they work out 4 to 6 hours a day, which is perfectly fine too. Maybe they're becoming an Instagram model or a CrossFit athlete. We don't really know. But either way, it's a good spot to check your ego, and I think I got by with a cheap, relatively unscathed ego check, even though hopefully this thing heals up relatively normally. Yeah, but we'll see. Definitely doing legs and that for so on. So that's how I partially tore my pec broing out, and yeah, good little lesson. Check that ego.